So, welcome back to our Swadhyaya online reading retreat labs. So we were continuing with reading every day Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in a couple of months, and we have started this series. We call it Power of SAP, the Gateway to Spirituality program. In that we have two series as of now. One is the Gita Daily series, which is happening every day evening, 8:30 p.m. in Indian Standard Timing, and in my YouTube live streaming. The same also for Srimad Bhagavatam, we are continuing with the canto number 9 today. This series is live mostly in the morning and the Indian Standard Time again. And today we are going to read from chapter number 13 as we see the mind map. So in the last session, we have completed the verse number 12 of chapter number 13. In case you have missed it out, you can check it out in my channel. So the last session was 13.12, and today we are going to read it from 13.22. Okay. So the Bhagavad Gita as it is, if you have I recommend always to go for the hard copy and of reading the verse. And also we are continuing the reflections from the Gita for Daily Enrichment series by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji. And we are parallel reading both Bhagavad Gita as it is and its reflection for its proper translation from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and as well as from the Gita for Daily Enrichment series. So both of the two books we are combining, and we'll be having also the Kahoot quiz on this in the upcoming days. So stay tuned for that. So with that note, let's start with today's verse. That is chapter number 13, verse number 22. So let's go to the chapter number 13, which is entitled as Nature, the Enjoyer, and the Consciousness. So this is the chapter number 13 entitled, and in this we're going to learn it from verse number 22. So the translation goes like this. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Purport. This verse is very important for an understanding of how the living entities transmigrate from one body to another. It is explained in the second chapter that the living entity is transmigrating from one body to another, just as one changes dress. This change of dress is due to his attachment to material existence. As long as he is captivated by his false manifestation, he has to continue with the transmigrating from one body to another. Due to his desire to lord it over material nature, he is put into such undesirable circumstances under the influence of material desire. The entity is born sometimes as a demigod, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a beast, as a bird, as a worm, as an aquatic, as a saintly man, as a bug. This is going on. And in all cases, the living entity thinks himself to be the master of his circumstances, yet he is under the influence of material nature. How he is put into such different bodies is explained here. It is due to the association with the different modes of nature. One has to rise, therefore, above the three material modes and become situated in the transcendental position. This is called Krishna consciousness. Unless one is situated in Krishna consciousness, his material consciousness will be obliged to transfer from one body to another because he has material desires since time immemorial. But he has to change that conception. That change can be effected only by hearing from authoritative sources. The best example is here Arjuna, the hearing the signs of God from Krishna. The living entity, if he submits to this hearing process, will lose his long cherished desire to dominate material nature. And gradually and proportionately, he reduces his long desire to dominate. He comes to enjoy spiritual happiness. In a Vedic mantra, it is said that he becomes learned in the association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He proportionately realizes his eternal blissful lives. So now let's read it from the Kindle, from Gita for Daily Enrichment series, chapter number 13, verse number 22. Might we be human silkworms? The title goes like this. Nature is rich with demonstration of spiritual truths. One central truth is that our misery is often self-inflicted as nature demonstrates through the silkworm. It makes a cocoon around itself for the sake of protection, but that very cocoon usually ends becoming the cause of its destruction. Gita wisdom indicates that we are, in a way, human silkworms. We are essentially spiritual beings, but are currently encaged by material desires that propel us to seek protection and pleasure in material objects. However, everything material is by its very nature temporary. That's why, as time takes its toll, the same material things that promise to be sources of protection become the causes of devastation. Whatever gives us pleasure when we possess it gives us pain when time disposes us. The Bhagavad Gita 13.22 indicates that our desire to enjoy the material, bhuṅkte prakṛti-jān guṇān, creates a cocoon of material attachments that end in misery. Thus do we become human silkworms. The silkworm, by its death, provides valuable silk to humans. In pitiful contrast, we by our death do not provide anything valuable to anyone. This dissimilarity indicates that we are no good at imitating silkworms. It is best that we start acting as humans. Gita wisdom underscores that humans have the potential to ascend to a spiritual arena that is beyond destruction. Unleashing that potential involves redirecting our need for protection and pleasure towards Krishna. When we make Krishna the center of our hearts and lives, then everything we do far from increasing our entanglement accelerates our journey towards the spiritual level of consciousness. There, our longing for protection and pleasure is never frustrated, but ever fulfilled, and fulfilled beyond the greatest promises at the material level. We'll read the translation again at the end. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil amongst various species. So with this, we have completed this verse. I don't think there's any difficult words here in this. So we will go ahead with, there's no words for today for this. So we'll mark it as a green and we will continue with the upcoming verse in upcoming days. So we have completed verse number 13.22 today from Bhagavad Gita. So I would recommend to read the translation and the purport once again. And we'll be having a Kahoot quiz on this in the upcoming days. All right. So with this, we'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.